What's up, y'all? It's your boy Steph, back with another reaction. This time we have Creepypasta. Every night, a new hand crawls out of my closet. Creepypasta. Uploaded. Sorry, I got hiccups. Uploaded February 3rd, 2019. I already don't fuck with the title. As is. Every night, a new hand crawls out of my closet. Well, out my closet. Whatever. No! Damn, these hiccups are killing me. Like I said, I don't fuck with the title, but this story should be scary as fuck. So, down in the description will be a link to Creepypasta's channel along with the link to this original video so y'all can go see it for yourselves without my commentary. Without further ado, let's get into it. And these hiccups are killing me, bruh.
Throughout my life, I've always struggled to sleep. This isn't because of any form of insomnia or procrastinating with games. It's because of the hands that talk to me from my closet.
Hands that talk to you. What?
It started as whispers or groans. Very light vocal sounds emanating from the echoey wood of my closet. It was often hard to decipher what they were saying, but the most common word I picked up was help.
Nah.
As you would expect, I would cry out for my parents each time this happened.
Move.
Through sobs, I'd explain in the most detail I could for a child, and they'd let me stay with them for the rest of the night. However, that was the extent of recognition I got.
Sleep in another room.
They drummed up my tales to a child's imagination. I got talks of being a big boy and had to grow out of this habit. Though I did grow out of the crying,
Excuse me.
the voices never outgrew me. Nearly every night, I'd hear their mutterings, taunting me to exhaustion. This was also the age I started asking to have friends over. My
Right.
parents were ecstatic that I was taking an interest in being social and heavily encouraged it. These nights would give me a semblance of peace. Sometimes. I don't know how they knew, but some nights they'd pick up that my friends were in a deep sleep and that I wasn't. These conditions were hell. Hearing these ominous sounds whilst my friends were blissfully unaware of the potential danger they were in, I felt guilty about it. However, it was worse when the voices no longer cared whether they were asleep and tried to hail their attention. It wasn't long for my friends to start politely declining my invites to stay over.
Hell yeah.
Their mortified faces carrying their true feelings.
What you mean?
Moving house never helped. That was a traumatic moment. When I'd freshly moved into the room I'd spent the rest of my childhood in, a hopeful feeling that I would escape the torture I'd endured prior, only for whispers and groans to remind me
Of
of the
course.
nightmare I lived in. As the years went by, the voices became more coherent. When I heard their mutterings, each night carried a different voice, something I ignored for the most part. Sometimes I asked them to leave, which they'd sadly accept, until one memorable night. I was woken one night by a meek voice. She sounded confused, scared. She stuttered. Hello? Is anyone there? I'm scared. It's dark. I don't know what to do.
Sounds
Can
personal.
anyone hear me?
It's not my fault.
I usually try to ignore them, but this voice warmed me. I tried to be polite. I replied, "Sorry, I can't help. Sorry."
Now run away.
At hearing my voice, she responded to me. "Oh, okay. I guess I'll just live in pain. It hurts so much." My heart sank. What made me feel worse was how she never responded past then, though there were no more voices. That night, I especially didn't sleep well.
You need to go somewhere else.
That voice was one of the more friendlier ones. One night, I was ready to nod off, and just as I felt I was about to slip away, I was jolted awake by a sound. It was a soft slam on wood. I bolted awake, cautious. Then came the screaming. The voices of what sounded to be a middle-aged lady was wailing from my closet, muffled by the sounds of my clothes and the walls. She screamed in every way she could for me to help her, for me to get her out of there as fast as I could. The urgency made me neither fall into fight or flight. Rather, I just froze for a bit. The panicked wail never let up, so I tried to talk to her.
What? No.
I assured her, as I did many times previously, that sadly I had no way of helping. However, this time was different.
Why?
The slams from before returned, getting louder and louder, jolting my door increasingly with each hit. All hope in my heart screamed for the door to stay shut. To my shock, it didn't.
The silence is getting louder?
It opened just wide enough for a limb to slip through.
It's an oxymoron, ain't it?
And once out, it fell to the floor, just barely sticking out of the gap, outreached but limp. The voice was more clearer now, though the screaming stopped. Her voice was raspy, but it didn't sound like her natural tone, more like a rasp from her excessive screaming. She groaned for help. Please, help. I want to leave. It hurts here. I don't want to be here anymore.
That's not my problem.
Please. I didn't know what to do.
Run.
I was just about learning to handle the voices, but the hand made me quiver at the invasion. I stayed in silence, too stunned to move or speak. After a while of pleading, silence rang. After a while more, the hand gently slipped back in the closet, and the doors softly closed. I was left shaking, more terrified than before. I didn't sleep that night. Sadly, that wasn't a one-off experience.
Why are you still there?
Each night carried a different voice, a different attitude. There was a voice that rang around my room one night. Annoyingly, it woke me from a good dream. He sounded older, with a deep, authoritative voice. He started strong, asking me nice, inquisitive questions. Hey kid, are you in school? How are you finding it? Do you have many friends? I didn't recognize it then, but those nice questions soon turned into sly coercion. Have you been taught to be good? If someone asked for your help, would you help them?
Depends.
Do you want to be a hero?
Not really.
All yes questions.
Only on the
A
weekends.
classic salesman tactic, designed to make you answer yes to all the obvious probes and trick you into agreeing to do something for them. I tensed up when the voice showed a slight sign of impatience. He scowled at me, taking too long on one question, which set me on edge for the rest of the conversation. His tone turned aggressive, fading away with obscenities at my brattish nature. That night left me sulking. In the mornings, there was never any evidence of anything that transpired the previous night. I confronted my parents. Through a white lie, telling them my old closet kept me up at night with its creaking, I persuaded them to let me install a lock. It was a logical option. No matter how strong the arms were, they'd never be able to break durable metal.
Fuck that.
My father and I set to drilling the pilot holes and screwing in the new lock setup.
Install cameras.
It was a simple padlock system. My dad wasn't much of a handyman, but we relished in the shared experience. I tested it after my dad left me alone, and I was rough. I rattled it as hard as I could, testing how much give there was. But in the end, I was satisfied with the results. I was almost looking forward to seeing the hands next try to wake me.
You tripping.
My feelings of intelligence got a grim reminder of its limitation, and the voice was back. They woke me by calling out for me. I played along, politely replying, hoping the lock would send a message. But when the arm pushed, gently at first, and was denied entry, everything got frantic. The voice became aggressive, screaming at me things I'd never heard other kids say. All the while, the arm bashed on the wood like an impatient solicitor, the rattling sound of metal giving off an additional menacing vibe. This wasn't kept up, and the hand calmed down and pined at the door like a cat, gently clawing with its long-sounding fingernails.
Claws.
This was far more foreboding and disturbing than a flaccid arm on my floor, all the while whispering many promises that they'd get rid of all my bullies. They could make me popular at school. They would do all my homework. Many tantalizing things a kid would die for, and more. I curled up and silently wept through the night. Past then, I never used the lock again.
I bet.
I never really told anyone about these experiences. When I half-baked the idea into conversation, I'd be met with mixed feelings of disbelief and furrowed brows, more so at my mental well-being than any kind of sympathy. This is why, when I met my girlfriend, Jamie, I never told her about it. We started dating near the end of my time at college. By this point, I was staying up most nights studying and working on too many projects to care about the hands. They never much liked coming out during the day, so this nocturnal sleep cycle was the most peaceful time of my life. I met Jamie in an extra course I took, and we hit it off straight away. Though we were both busy with college, so we took things easy. This is why, when she invited me over during a time we were both less busy, I snapped up the chance.
I bet.
I'd never held up a relationship before, due to my tired and constantly depressed demeanor, due to the strange nightly activities. So, in a setting where that mentality was the norm, I finally had my chance to fit in. We studied together, playing off each other's notes. It was great and very motivating compared to the solitude of doing it alone. We studied through the night, and not long after, crashed in bed. It was late at night, closer to when she slept. So this is why, when I awoke to some quiet whispers, I wasn't shocked. The mutterings went on, gently waking me from my slumber. The echoes making it sound like it was coming from her closet. However, a detail about it made me jolt awake in realization. The voice wasn't from the closet. It was Jamie's. She was asking someone if they needed help, in a tone like she was talking to a child. I quickly turned and yelled at her to stop. I wanted to tell her to back away, to never entertain the hands' games, to never go near them. But I could barely give out a yell before I saw her gently caress the palm of the child's hand, poking out the closet out of curiosity. That was all it took. At the brief moment of contact, the fingers gripped around her at the same time as snapping back, and at an inhuman pace, she was pulled in. It lasted less than a second, probably breaking many of her bones in the process.
Ooh.
The door snapped open and shut, just fast enough for Jamie to be pulled in one motion. The split second, revealing many different arms, all congealed together at the back of the closet, writhing together as a mass entity. Jamie being consumed whole. What happened after the door closed?
Rather you than me. Fuck that.
I do not know. The only way I can liken the predatory speed is like a crocodile basking in the sun on a river's bed. When any sort of sensation brisks the inside of their mouth, they snap and roll, brutally twisting its victims into the water. That night was one of the first nights I'd ever been truly left alone by the hand. But there was no peace that night. The police report was hard to make, but I managed to withhold enough details to present myself as sane, whilst also giving enough information to make myself non-compliant. I quietly finished the rest of college, opting to stick by myself for the rest of the term. Each night still presents a new hand, accompanied by a different voice and a different personality. Though, the arm sticks out that little bit more now. It's up to the shoulder. I've learned to deal with it for the most part, except for some nights when a unique voice rings out and a familiar arm gently rests on the carpet I laid out for them.
Why?
Those nights, I sit by the door, gently talking to the voice. She never directly responds, only talking about the pain she's in and that she needs my help. During these nights, I feel so guilty. Sometimes, when I'm staring at what remains of Jamie, I wonder if it'll be better to go in with her.
What? Why would that be better? She got. You're safe. That's good. What's that say? The church basement creepypasta. 12 minutes and 16 seconds. That sounds pretty good, actually. I might have to look into that from Creepypasta. The church basement. I like how that sounds. I mean, it's creepy, but, you know, churches are very notorious. Yes, it's the house of God, but y'all already know. I'm pretty sure y'all have heard some church horror stories. The hands were talking. You were ignoring them for the most part. But your friend didn't. So when she grabbed hold of one of the arms or hands or whatever, it just dragged her into the closet and closed the doors. That's not your fault. She's the one who was curious. She's the one who went over there. Fuck is you talking about? I just realized I still had my sunglasses on. I've had them on this whole fucking time. That's why, you know what? Because before I came upstairs to start recording the 5, 6, 7 videos that I recorded one time, back to back to back, I had went out, gotten some food, went to the barbershop, turned in an application for the county, washed my car down by hand, and went to the dollar store. I then did all this and came right upstairs after that, eating. I had some McDonald's, some chicken tenders, and a large fry to go along with it. 6-piece chicken tender with a large fry at that. Yeah, so I didn't even realize that I still had them on. But what did y'all think of the story? Let me know down in the comments section below. That is it for this video, y'all. If you like my reaction, like the video, comment on the video, and share the video. And if you really liked it, subscribe to my channel. It really helps me out a lot. And tap that bell icon so you will be notified every time I drop new content, which I do on a weekly basis. Also in the description would be all the links to my social medias. Hit your boy up and see the personal life that I don't upload to YouTube. And that is all I got for y'all this time around. Your boy Steph is out.